Hey, what's up? It's your favorite YouTuber, Apex Sapien. I'm here to give you some real deep spit. So, like, subscribe, share. Go ahead and put that out into the universe and the interweb so we can go ahead and get more people to the message because we got to talk about Steve Harvey. See, I'm going to tell you the top 3 reasons why Steve Harvey's divorce is going to save you in your future relationships. Because let me tell you something. I know you don't care about Steve Funny Mustache Harvey, but this divorce that he's going through is going to be a massive implication for a lot of guys if you can sit there and actually take the lessons from what's going on and how you can operate in this crazy dating field known as the modern woman of the West. So listen up. I want to be able to save you from your relationship so you don't end up embarrassed out there in the cold wondering what the hell happened, so you don't end up like Steve Harvey going on talk shows explaining why your wife divorced you. So get ready, buckle up, listen, we're going to be talking some deep spit. Let's get it. Listen, my goal for you after this video is to understand the secret dark motives of modern women on the dating scene. See, a lot of guys are very clueless. They're still stuck in 1950s, 1960s, still thinking, I'm going to go get me a job, a nice wife, a picket fence, and a dog, and 3 kids. Hey, guess what? Those days are long gone. They don't exist anymore because this modern woman we're dealing with is not the same that we dealt with our grandparents had. See, we're in a different zone, and a lot of guys are now suffering the consequences of not playing a different game. So I'm going to give you some real deep spit, some instructions. So now when you go out to operate in the dating field, you're no longer lost and confused. You're going to know how to exactly read a girl before she even gets to you. So listen up, buckle up. Top 3 reasons why you need to understand why Steve Harvey's divorce is going to save your relationships. All right, so I don't know if you guys have paid attention to the news, but Steve Harvey is in a situation. He's recently getting divorced from his longtime partner, Marjorie, who he recently married, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6, 7 years ago. Basically the mother of Lori Harvey, which is Steve Harvey's adopted daughter, and also Thought Runner of the Year. And so anyway, Steve Harvey is now coming to grips that, I probably made a huge mistake with who I chose. And the reason he made a huge mistake with who he chose is because 3 things he never paid attention to because he was too busy simping. You guys got to stop the simping, brothers. The more simping you do, the worse you're going to be in the future. So, number 1 reason why Steve Harvey's in the situation that he's in is because men don't commit until she commits to your well-being. Now, let me explain that to you in layman's terms. Most guys, when they get into these relationships, they simply are just looking for the vagina. And because they're listening for the yang-yang, they're too preoccupied to actually think about long-term what this relationship is actually going to look like. They don't actually plan a relationship a year, 5, 10, 20 years down the future. So these girls, they basically get you to commit. And what happens is the guy commits because he wants to have the vajayjay. And as a result, he gets himself in a circumstance where he's now emotionally tied to this vajayjay, and the only way he can get out is by losing most of his stuff. And so, as a man, you got to understand, you're more than just your dick. You got to think past the dick. Think with this big brain instead of the small brain or the small head. Because you need a woman to commit to your well-being. Because you guys are a partnership, and since you're carrying most of the important load when it comes to life, such as protection and provisions, like if somebody comes and kicks your door down, you're probably not going to go send your girl. You're going to have to put your life at risk to be able to save her life. She's never going to be able to do that for you. So you got to be compensated for such activities, man. This is being in a relationship is a very important duty and job, and most guys never really truly think about how important their duties and jobs are as a relationship because they only thought with the I get free pussy. But you're not getting free vagina. What you're getting is a headache. A huge headache, especially if you commit before she even commits to you being the best version of yourself. Because you have to understand, in the animal kingdom, the male version of the animal is always the best version of the animal. Because he's the one that has to fight, protect the territory, wait off the invaders. He's the one who has to die for the clan. Very rare do you see the females dying for the clan. The females will simply just see the alpha die, a new alpha will come in, and then that new community is built around that new alpha. So if you're the alpha man of your community, or the alpha man of your life, which I expect you to think that you are, because we're Apex Sapiens here, we're looking for top level thinking, top level production, what you need to start thinking is, make sure your girl cares about your well-being. And there's a couple ways you can see that, man. Is she giving you food? Is she asking how you're doing? Does she care enough to make your life less stressful? Does she just give a damn about you? And if you ask most guys, they're going to tell you they're feeling very lonely. Most guys don't feel like their woman gives a damn about them. And you know what? She really probably doesn't, because you didn't put any requirements ahead of time. You simply just committed to the vajayjay, and she committed to taking all your assets. So that's what you need to understand about the game. She's in the game of marriage for business. Men are in the game for love. Homage to Coach Greg Adams. She's looking at, what can I gain from this relationship? You're looking like, oh, how much pussy could I get? And see, this is the downfall of most dudes, and probably the downfall of Steve Harvey. He was looking at this as I'm going to be a real man. I got a real wife, a real good girl that I really wanted. And that brings us to our second lesson, which is another very important lesson. Listen, if she wasn't interested in you when you first met, don't work to make her more interested. That's a losing proposition, young man. Just please. Like Steve Harvey tells a story about how this Margie lady rejected him multiple times when he was a stand-up comic, when he was coming up, cutting his teeth, going through the grind, before he really accumulated his wealth. And then as soon as he accumulated wealth, and then she was down bad, because most girls are always going to be down bad because they made terrible life choices, he decided to bring her on 20 years later. And so Steve Harvey spent 20-something years dirty macking, because I believe he was actually the cause for their divorce early on with her first husband. And he was dirty macking, doing some lawyer stuff, basically stealing that girl away from his guy, from her boyfriend, whatever. And now, as the tables have turned, she goes on to sleep with his work, or with his help, which was the security guard. So she didn't even have sex going up or going sideways. She didn't have sex for mobility. She simply just did it because I'm tired of you, Steve, and I want somebody else, and I'm going to hurt you in the worst way possible, which is sleeping with somebody beneath you, which is really a dirty, dirty, dirty move. And once again, you guys got to realize, women are people, just like anybody else. Stop thinking they're angels and all this other stuff. They're not angels. They're human beings, just like anybody else is a human being. So you need to act accordingly. Treat her like a human being. You would never accept a human being that didn't like you, wasn't kicking with you, and then come around and hang out with you when you're rich and famous and have everything that you want. You would say no. If that was a dude, you would never accept that. You would be like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of my face. But since it's a woman, guys are always weak for a vagina. And for this image of a wife and kids, lovely marriage thing that they have in their head. Once again, get out the 1950s, get out the 1960s. We're in 2023, man. It's passport bro season. I'm letting you guys know. Get out there, get your passport, go overseas. Go have some fun. Stop dealing with this kryptonite of American women. They don't care about you. Now, the other women who are overseas, they probably don't care about you either, but at least they're nicer to you, and they don't charge as much. And so anyway, listen, if your girl wasn't interested in you, it's because she had other better options at the time. That's the only reason a woman's not interested in you. If you're the best that a woman can do at that time, guarantee you, she's going to mess with you. She's going to be interested. She's going to show those lovey-dovey eyes, those puppy eyes, and she's going to go hop in your whip, and you guys are going to drive off and have a great time. But if she doesn't, that means she had a roster of other guys that just outranked you. So don't try to work and fight for her attention. All it does is make you look like a sucker, like Steve Harvey currently. Hey, I don't want you guys looking like suckers. I expect better from you people, because you guys are my subscribers. And if you're subscribing to me, you're listening to what I'm telling you, guarantee you, you're not that dumb. And third, and most important, when you get into a relationship, have a plan for your girl. Have a plan. See, a lot of guys just get into relationships and they just let the girl be free willy, which is okay. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. But as a man, you should have some requirements. You should have some things that you need a woman to do in your life to make your life easier, because you got to really think about the return on investment. Is the time and energy I'm putting into this girl, am I getting a return on investment that I actually want, that I'm happy and justified with this deal? Because at the end of the day, it's all bargaining. And nobody wants to say this, and women try to do this thing where they try to preach to you about love and connection and all that stuff. She don't care about that love and connection. She cares about, what am I getting out the deal? Do I get a house? Do I get a family? Do I get a car? Do I have to work? They're trying to figure out, what's the numbers? How much do I have to work? And men need to start being more pragmatic and more practical when it comes to relationships. And it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because if you're happy, you're going to be able to make her happy, because you guys have a mutual benefit where you guys are both building together. And so you need to start really thinking about these things. Do you have a plan for a woman when she comes in your life? Do you have a business? Do you have a secretary role? Do you have something that she can do around your house to be able to save you time, money, energy, and resources. So when you do decide to spend your time, energy, and resources on her, there's a decent counterbalance. But most guys are so pussy hungry. You gotta leave the vajayjay alone, people. I'm trying to tell you now. Leave it alone. Put the drug down. Put it down now. But you're not gonna do it because you're too. I love vagina. I love it. I love it. And that's the thing. Most guys don't really love women. They really just love vagina. They're pussy fiends. And you gotta lose that mentality. You gotta think with the big head and not the small head. Understand, sex is not going anywhere. Sex will be here till you're in the time. There's other things bigger than sex. But when you put sex over your own well-being, over protecting your assets, over your life, brother, you're gonna end up like Steve Harvey, just sad, embarrassed, and broken. Because I don't know how Steve's coming out of this. Steve is gonna be he's gonna be a laughing stock. He's a laughing stock now. He talked all this stuff about marriage, how he was such a genius. What do you bring to the table? Well, Steve brought everything to the table. Steve brought millions. Steve brought fame. Steve bought a house. He brought everything a man could possibly be. There is not too many men who are doing as well as Steve Harvey financially and status-wise. And what happened? He got cheated on by a security guard. Or he got cheated on with a security guard. What does that tell you, young man? It tells you the game is broken. It's rigged. Bamboozled. Get out the game. Learn the game so then you can apply your game to the new game that's being played. And if you don't, hey, guess what, man? Steve Harvey's looking for a support group. Appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, listen. You guys are the best. Appreciate you.